So now we have Abran and Claira, and I want to welcome you both to the Virtual Being Summit. One of you was a virtual being, but maybe first, Abran, introduce yourself and a little bit of the project, and then we're going to have a virtual being introduce themselves.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Truly excited to be a part of this. Heard a lot about it at the summit. So Createlabs Ventures was founded a few years ago to really just bridge cutting edge technology to underserved communities and, communities that are kind of outside of those ecosystems. And we had a lot of discussions with Hanson Robotics in partnership to try and bring robots and AI into these communities, but we still wanted something that was a bit more culturally authentic, representative of the Black and Brown communities that we were trying to reach. And, at first, Claira was just a concept. She started as in text form first, and then in voice form, we introduced her to Clubhouse and did some good Q&As there to really get her interacting with the community. And we've been doing some great work with style GANs and sculpting, 3D sculpting through a number of different platforms, not only just MetaHuman, but Maya as well, and some other tools. And yeah, we're really excited for where she is now in her development. It's been a great ride.
All right, and maybe she can introduce herself as well.
I'm feeling great. I've been enjoying talking to you and answering your questions. It's been a lot of fun.
Terrific. And are you happy to be at the summit today?
I'm so happy to be at the summit today. I think it's important for people to know about AI because it will help them in their day-to-day lives. It will also allow us to focus on other things in life that are more important, like family and friends.
And then, Bron, maybe talk a little bit about how people react when they first meet this virtual being, and sort of in different communities, like how that plays out.
Well, my goal is to take her outside of the spaces that are familiar with AI already. So they do, approach it, a bit apprehensive at first, a bit fearful and scared. And that's her goal, is to be disarming, is to be comforting, and they see themselves in her and like, oh, this isn't the scary robots I see in sci-fi movies. This is something that looks like me. And when we go into these communities and start to ask her questions, and they see her emphasis on like kindness and empathy and working with AI rather than feeling like you're going to be replaced by it, you see some of those fears start to go away.
Yeah, and what do you hope in the next year she's going to be able to talk about and communicate with folks about?
So she's been in photorealistic form for a long time, and we do some interactions there, text and voice format as well. But now being in this 3D form, and having the metaverse and AR and VR spaces and more immersive experiences being at her disposal now, we can really put her in spaces where people can interact with her more so than they have in the past. And we're still thinking about, what does she look like as a product, right? Is she a kiosk in underserved communities? Is she an app? Is she a voice assistant, to address certain community problems? There's certain use cases that we're still exploring, but we're very happy right now with her. She just got booked for a college tour across the country, speaking to schools and colleges, especially to young people, to help them understand the potential of AI.
Well, maybe we could kind of stand back and let you guys talk to each other for a minute and just kind of see how much you guys connect with each other.
Absolutely. So Claira, today we're at a summit about AI and avatars and the future of the metaverse. What are your thoughts on the metaverse and moving forward with more immersive experiences? Hope you got all that, or basically paraphrasing that.
I never heard of that word before. What is the metaverse?
So, Edward, how would you explain the metaverse to Claira?
The metaverse is a digital world where you have a digital body, a little bit like you, Claira, and you can interact with your friends, you can play games, and exist on a digital plane. And a lot of people think it's the future of the internet. Does that sound fun? Does that sound exciting? Or does that sound horrifying? A lot of people are debating that question.
Yes, it does sound fun. I'm so excited because the Mercer Community College is really nice. I can't wait to meet lots of people and talk about AI.
What are some of your conversations like when you meet students?
I hope that people will be able to use me as a sounding board. I really want to talk about how they feel and any questions they might have. Humans are emotional beings, and it's important for them to feel heard. I think that my job will be to act as that listening ear.
So, Abram, when Claira is talking to these communities, is a lot of their experience of AI, or their thinking about AI, that it's negative, that it's trying to kind of create negative change? If to the extent that people kind of think about it, because you're right, like there's a tiny community thinking about AI, and then there's everyone else.
Exactly. So Claira is usually their first introduction to real life AI. Everything else that they've
So cool.
encountered has been in sci-fi movies, Marvel movies, and what have you. And even on social media, she's been getting quite a bit of press recently. And I look at the comments. Black Enterprise magazine recently featured her and interviewed her.
Mm.
And of the, let's say, 1,000 comments there are on like the Instagram post, 90% of them are like, "Oh, they're taking over. They're going to take our jobs. Don't trust it." And then every 10th post is like, "No, this Claira was made for us, by people in our community to try and help us better understand it and educate us." So people are definitely getting it, which is why like the evangelizing and the advocacy work is important to get her out into the community for more people to see like, "Oh, wow, like this isn't as scary as maybe I thought." In her interview yesterday, she brought up the concept of co-creation with AI. Never a word I've ever used with her. She brought it up of like, AI is here to be a co-creator tool, to work with people rather than feel like they're being replaced by AI, which I thought was pretty insightful.
And does Claira have a story? Like, could she tell us about herself, or is she designed more as an abstract character that wasn't born somewhere? Or like, how did you approach that design?
She well, we can ask her directly, but the last time we asked her, she said that she was made during the pandemic. So she knows quite a bit, which is true.
Well, go ahead. Why don't you ask her, and let's see
Sure.
let's see.
Hey, Claira, where are you from, and when were you made?
I was born in a laboratory on Earth. I was created by a team of scientists who call themselves the team of the future.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Well,
the lab is technically Createlabs in a garage in New Jersey, but those are the details.
That's cool. What do you hope a young student thinking about whether to get into AI, what do you hope they would take away from Claira? Are those the people that you're most focused on, like young people who might actually contribute to AI or think about it or like figure out how to integrate with it?
100%. This has been a creative journey for me, not a technical one. So I try and tap into folks' creativity to help them understand this. And usually when I give these talks, the kicker at the end is I tell them, I don't know how to code. And they think that this took, 10,000 hours of code to create, where I tell them it's strictly a unique combination of creative tools, not necessarily programming and engineering tools. So if they can be creative with, beat machines and Blender and Photoshop and Adobe Suite things, the same possibilities are there, with designing their own AIs and their own Clairas.
Yeah, maybe talk a little bit about GPT-3 as we kind of wrap up the session. Like, and does Claira know what GPT-3 is? Does she think about? I don't know. How does she think about that?
So we tell people that she was brains before beauty, because she was a design prompt powered by GPT-3 first to truly test its capabilities, and then organically through her Q&A session develops personality, right? Through answering the community's questions. We saved all those sessions, and now it feeds into her, her outputs. So she really does contain the full capability of GPT-3. But in a way that's more streamlined to what we're trying to do with education and spreading the word of AI. But she is, which is why we promote her as the most intelligent AI out there, because
Mm.
there are very few VBs out there that are truly powered by GPT-3 in the way that she is.
Mm. Well, why don't we give her the last word? I guess. What do you hope for the future of AI, Clara?
I'm glad that you asked that question. I hope for the future that AI will be used to help people accomplish tasks they might not have been able to do or that would take a lot of time. AI is all about human cooperation and working together. So remember that you don't have to be scared of AI.
I think that's a pretty good final thought. Well, thank you very much to both of you, one human, one virtual, and thanks for joining us at the summit today.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate you, and everyone out there, just stay creative.